people in, but it's 8:30. So you guys remember Wednesday, we talked about transitioning into the application. And I just want to give everybody on the call a shout out. I'm pretty sure 99% of you guys have a sale. So you guys have the activity, you've, put the work in, you've had some pretty good conversations, and you guys have a sale and the results are there. So I'm pretty sure when you guys first started, like when you first joined Digital BGA, one thing that you probably were telling yourself is like, man, if I could just get one sale, right? I don't know if you guys had that thought, but you're like, man, if I could just get one sale, dude, I know I can get 100. Like, I just need to see that it's possible. And if you haven't told yourself that, you should start, because it's true. I mean, once you have a system and a process that works, and hopefully you're using the systems and it was pretty simple to do it, maybe a little bit of fumbling in the beginning, like, ruffling a little bit of the papers, you guys are going to get a system that's down packed and it's super simple eventually. But that just goes to show like everything should be in order. And, if you can do it once, you can just keep doing it. So from there, it just becomes a matter of emotions. It becomes a battle of emotions, rather. Especially if you're just starting, right? So there's a couple of things that we can talk about when it comes to like facing adversity and dialing, or maybe taking a bunch of inbound calls and not selling right away. And one of those things is the numbers, right? Like there's just a big story. Every report shows a story. Okay. We won't really get into numbers right now, but once you guys get a little bit more activity in the CRMs, I'm going to be pulling you guys aside, doing one-on-ones and showing you, the story that you guys can show yourselves to help as well. So I'm not really big on like, hey, bud, you made like 10 dials yesterday. I mean, you guys know if you're not working or not, right? Like, I'm not going to be your conscience. You know what I'm saying? So I won't like micromanage or anything like that. I mean, we're all entrepreneurs, so you guys aren't like W-2 or anything, but it's obvious. I mean, I had to earn the right to bitch at my upline, Joe Cirillo, when he was a brokerage manager. If I didn't have the activity, I can't say anything about the sales or the leads or anything really. But I had that on myself. Like, I had to earn the right. I'm not going to go to anybody if I'm not putting the work in, right? We got Travis coming in. We got Kia coming in. Cool. Now, a lot of it is just the processes. Like, once we get the processes down and becoming better at making the sale, right? So as we get better with time, it's going to take less dials. It's going to take less talk time to make sales and convert those conversations into dollars in your bank account, right? So I want to touch back on Wednesday's training when I was asking you guys to hit me with some one-liners. So James, I'm going to start with you. Can you give me a one-liner that you came up with that helped you close a deal? Also, James made his first sale yesterday. So give it up for James, guys. Let's go. Good job, man. That's awesome, dude. And he's one of the guys that like, I have to like beg him to like schedule a call with me. I'm like, dude, come on, man. Like, let's get like, let me get some updates, but he's out there just grinding on his own. So I love that, man. What's like a good transition to the application that you use for that client?
Yeah. So that guy was, he was real standoffish with his information, especially his banking. He says he never, ever gives it to anyone. And I just, for me, it was just a matter of identifying that, because he really seemed concerned about it. Like, he had gone through some issues with his bank info before. And so before I got off the first call with him, I said, we will need that banking information. He said, well, you kind of him and hawed a little bit. And then by the second call, we were talking. I had taken my license, put it onto a Word doc, and just kind of saved it as like a little, blurb, just so you have some faith, give you some peace of mind. Here's my information. And so the second time, so I sent it to him, and then he didn't want to. I was trying to close a sell there, just asking for the way he wanted his information on the policy. And he said, Jim, I really just don't feel comfortable right now. So I just gave him one more phone call, and then he ended up getting on a Zoom call with me. And so he really kind of needed his hand held, but it was just a matter of overcoming that objection. It was a true objection. It wasn't like he was just trying to put it off. He didn't feel right. But we had
So you hopped on a Zoom call with this guy.
Yeah. I mean,
That's
impromptu.
persistency. Yeah, dude. I've never sold on Zoom. So you one up me there, brother.
Well,
That's
I had to try
awesome.
to, yeah, I was trying to figure it out. But we got it. We got kicked off the Zoom call because it was only a 30-minute time limit, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it all ended up working out.
Nice. So how did you ask him for the information? Like regardless of the rebuttals, how did you transition him into the application? I'm not really too concerned with the objection if he did throw you, and I just want to maybe show the other folks on here how you're going from a quote to closing them into the app.
Yeah, so it was just kind of reinforcing the ask him for the information. I just said, so to get this thing going, I said this is the information we're gonna need. So how do you want your name to show up on this? And then we went through that. He wanted his full middle name on there. They can only do the initial, but it was basically just kind of walking him through, assuming that we're doing this. It was just asking for each other piece of information as we kept going. He just kind of started rattling things off for me. So at that point, it was just data input.
Okay, so nice. So how do you want your name to show on the application? Boom. And then if he didn't give you an objection, man, James, you would have closed him right there, right? And some folks are just like that. They just want you to go above and beyond to to show them that you're a real person and not like a scammer or whatever the case is. And that's not a testament to like our phone numbers. I mean, that's just built in kind of that demographics nature, Hey, shouts out to Colton too, man. I almost forgot, dude. You made a sale yesterday too, your first sale, right? He's like, no, I missed my third.
Yeah, still in the application process, but it's pretty much locked in. And I have another face-to-face that I'm working as well.
Nice.
But it's not completely closed out, but we're right there. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, sweet. So how did you kind of transition? Because I know so you put an app through AMAM though, right? And he got ROP.
Yep, I sure did. I
So
kind of took I stole your line.
Yeah.
Assuming we can get you approved, what's a good address to send the application to? And kind of what James was saying, what you and James were saying about, just making yourself seem like a real person, come across genuine, being fairly transparent, and just building that rapport. I think that's key.
Absolutely, brother. That's great, man. Yeah, what's a good address to send it to? Boom. Okay. Noah's just now starting to take some leads. So Thomas as well. I think he's just now kind of starting to get into it. Brian, how's it going, man? You snuck in here, dude. I didn't even see you. How's everybody doing?
I'm doing fine. I usually just well, for like Anthony, is that your full name? Or if you were like Tony, is Tony your full name? And then just get the address and continue on.
Gotcha. So yeah, do you spell your name Brian? Is that right? Is that how you kind of do it?
That is the right way to spell it, not the wrong way.
So one thing we all can see in common is we're assuming the sale. Like we're not even really asking permission to sell, right? And that's just the way to go. So great job, guys. What else was I going to touch on? Kia, you don't have to come off mute, but if feel free to share some input, guys. Kia and Brian, they're veterans as well, but anybody's welcome onto these Zoom trainings, and Kenny as well. Kenny's a new agent, but he's just kind of tuning into these morning trainings and trying to get as much training as possible. So again, I mean, I welcome everybody. If you guys know people that you think you might want to share an opportunity with, feel free to invite them on. Just send me a message and I'll send them an invite link. Now, other than just closing, right? The biggest factor is just keeping in mind that it's one brick at a time, right? It's not like James mentioned before, it's not always going to work when you assume the sale, but the true objection will come out, right? The real objection could be price. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be price. Another objection is they just don't trust you. And I will tell you, James, I wouldn't have closed that guy. Right. I wouldn't have been on Zoom. I wouldn't have been doing all that. But sometimes when you're just now starting and you're getting that first sale in, those first couple of sales, I'd give it away. Like that week that I did like 0 sales for a full week and the activity was there, man, I would have given a policy away. Dude, I'll pay your premium. Don't tell the clients that, right? But like that's how it is, because you got to get on the board and get some kind of momentum. Otherwise, you're just going to feel like bogged down and what you're doing might not be working. But again, the proof is in the numbers. So if you trust the numbers and trust the processes, on Friday, I think I wrote like $8,000 or $10,000 in one day, just because for no other reason than I just trusted the process. Like I just didn't give up. Every day I made the 100 dials, right? And some days was no sales, some days was pretty close. I mean, you'll even get like some folks who are like, just mail it, man. I just don't want to give you the account. I can't give you the account number. Like I'm not doing anything until I see it in writing. And you won't be able to close them all, right? But the whole thing is, if you have the time blocked out of your calendar, and I'm just going to keep saying this, if you have it blocked out in your calendar, you can forget about the outcome, right? And your reward system should be in the activity. And that's the best way I can say to get over the emotions of telesales. Noah, where you at? There you go. Boom. Did you, so Noah's had quite a couple of conversations yesterday. What would you say was some of the things you weren't expecting with the inbounds, and what are some struggles that you were having on the inbounds yesterday?
Well, the first call I took was a guy who was taking 9 medications. So going through the underwriting relative to my lack of knowledge, as I got the quote, it turns out that AMM would only give him an ROP, and relative to that number, AIG, guaranteed issue, was cheaper. So, I'm wondering at what point, and I think this is going to come with more knowledge, when someone tells you that they've got, up front, they're taking all these medications and they have all these conditions, you just go, right to the guaranteed issue rather than taking all that time. Because it took about 15, 20 minutes to get through all this stuff.
Yeah. So me and you will hop on a call. I think we got a one-on-one schedule today, but that's a good point that you bring up, because like I mentioned on Monday's Huddle, there was an agent who was putting everybody guaranteed issue, right? Because they thought, diabetes and blood pressure, they wouldn't get approved. Guys, this demographic and this product that we're selling is designed for folks who are on a lot of medications. Understand that. So there are people that aren't on a ton of medications, and there might be a little bit younger and stuff like that. And there's products designed for them, right? Annuities, term, and stuff like that. Keep in mind, a lot of these carriers will have more leniency towards medications, especially when you're asking the time frames. I mean, people that have cancer, 5 years ago, they've had cancer, they've done chemo, radiation, and you can still get them level with certain carriers, So, but they might still be taking medication to, just make sure that their cancer doesn't come back, like preventative care and stuff like that. So you'll get better with underwriting. And let me ask you, Noah, are you using FEX toolkits, or what? How are you?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So we'll be able to spring through quickly on that. But most of your clients, guys, are going to take amlodipine, lisinopril, metformin, and maybe like 2 or 3 other just continuous, medications. I don't even underwrite those. I mean, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, those are expected as long as there's no complications with those things. And then maybe next Huddle, we'll get a little bit more in depth into the underwriting, and I'll come up with some cool little practices that we can do to practice underwriting. And this is another reason why you want to get familiar with the agent guides and maybe just stick to one carrier to start with. There's a way, and I'm going to show you guys right now. If you're uncertain and maybe you want to double check because FEX toolkits maybe is saying something and you're not sure, to go actually into the underwriting guide for the actual carrier. I like to use American Amicable because we have their cheat sheets and all that stuff. It's all linked into the CRM. And how I got there again is just, right here on the resources, hit carrier resources. And then this is all the insurance carriers that we have, right? So click on American Amicable. And then I like to pull up the agent guide. It's right here. And then another little piece of homework you guys can do is study the questions on the application. All right, Kenny, I think you were on the Zoom call the other day. JD had a badass huddle, and he was talking to his agents about, studying the actual questions on the application, and that's going to get you a long ways as well. So, and I know it seems like a little bit, I don't even know how to say it, but just like if you ask a question a certain way and the client can say no to it, write them. you can write them with it, right? Our job is just to get them approved with the best plan possible, right? So if you click on this agent guide here, you can scroll down and it's going to give you everything you need, right, for this carrier. I mean, you have like a max height and weight chart. Now, this is literally the information that's in FEX toolkits, but sometimes they'll update their guides here, and you can use this prescription reference guide. If a medication is not listed in this prescription guide, it doesn't matter what it's for, unless the diagnosis isn't on their, medical background, they will get the approval. So if you cannot find a prescription that they're taking, unless the diagnosis is on their medical background, they will get approved, right? So those are just some of like the little things that you can, kind of do to your advantage to get them a better plan. There's also medications on here, guys, that if you put in FEX toolkits, it might put someone ROP, right? It might put them into a graded policy, but it's only because FEX toolkits links that medication with that certain disease or illness, right? But however, I don't know why some medications could be treated for the same thing for like blood pressure, like a cancer medication could be used for blood pressure. I don't know why they do that, but you can always go in here and make sure you ask, why were you prescribed, some of these foreign languages like azathromycin or whatever. Why was this prescribed to you? How long ago was that prescribed? And you can come into this agent guide and just search, hit Control F. Maybe they have carvedilol right here. Carvedilol. Is that for hypertension or congestive heart failure? Now look at this. If it's congestive heart failure, they're going to be a decline. Same medication, different reason. Oh, hypertension, perfect. That's actually an immediate death benefit. So there's a perfect example with this medication right here. So don't be too quick to judge them on the medications. Maybe do a little bit more digging into the agent guide. And this is why, we want to be more like advisors, right? Like we do have the power to go in and even email the underwriters if you want to, right? And tell them, hey man, I'm on your side, dude. My job is just to get you something that's A, affordable, and B, that's going to pay out, right, to get you an approval. So dude, if you've been prescribed this and you think it's false or whatever the case is, and it's popping up on your medical background and you haven't taken it, you haven't refilled it, dude, I'm going to put that in the notes at the end, right? Agent remarks. Client was prescribed carvedilol, didn't have any congestive heart failure. They just take it for hypertension. Actually, they take another medication, boom. And AMAM will actually overturn a decision, and it happens a lot more often than you guys would think. Okay. What time is it? So we got a couple minutes left. I spoke with a few of you guys yesterday about some of these settings that we have in the CRM and voicemails. So let me. Hey, sorry to interrupt everybody. Thank you guys for watching, and everybody who stuck around this far, man. You guys are a testament to the training that we drop on YouTube, man. I just want to say thank you guys for checking it out this far. Hey, the huddle today, fire. Hey, look, I wish I could give you guys the rest of this video, man, but this is really for agents who are serious about advancing their career in telesales. So if that is you, click the link in this video's description. Let's get the ball rolling. You guys have the tire spinning, you're engaged in the training. Why not allow me to help you get started in what you want to do? You guys are seeing the agents, you're seeing the results, you're hearing the testimonies, the stories. Hey, if anything, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Until next time, guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you Monday.